Am I the idiot for not helping my boyfriend's family with home improvement tasks after he voluntold me? I am 25 female and my boyfriend is 26. He had a mother and 3 sisters. Their father died when they all were pretty young, and honestly, none of them have really learned how to be independent. My dad raised me to be pretty independent. He told me to never depend on a man, and I don't. My dad owned a construction company, and he was one of the most talented woodworkers I've ever met. He taught me how to do a lot. I can work on cars within reason, cook, build furniture, lay tile, and do most home improvement type stuff. And honestly, if I don't know how to do something, I'm pretty good at YouTubing it and asking whoever I need to for pointers. My boyfriend and I live in a house that I solely own. I have made the house into what my boyfriend and I need. We are getting ready to get married, and maybe adopt a few children. His sisters are all kind of helpless. I admittedly don't really like any of them. His oldest sister has been dating this slimy guy, and they have 4 kids together. He binge drinks a lot, and doesn't really do anything. He gets a disability check from pretending to be schizophrenic. Their trailer is falling apart and their water isn't coming on. She cried to my boyfriend and asked him to get me to come get their water working again and fix some stuff. She said she can't afford to pay anyone. He said sure and casually told me. I told him no, definitely don't want to go do that in my free time. He's upset because he doesn't want to go back on his word to his sister. I suggested one of them can figure it out, or he can pay someone to do it. We have separate finances. His other sister started redoing her kitchen last month. She thought it would be easy. Halfway through gutting everything, she realized that she was in way over her head. Her boyfriend also broke up with her, and she had no one to help. He was the one mainly directing things. She asked my boyfriend to ask me to come help. He told her I would. I said no. Same problem. No. We are having a fight right now. He thinks that I am not being a team player for his family. I told him that I don't ask his family for anything, ever, and it's not my fault that they choose to put themselves in bad spots and expect to be bailed out. It would be reasonable if they were sick and I brought them a meal, or if we watch the kids while someone is in the hospital. You know, normal family stuff. But I don't think wanting me to go do real labour and spend my entire weekend on projects because of their screw-ups is reasonable. At the end, I told him if he isn't okay with this boundary I'm setting, then we have no business getting married. And the ball is in his court. He had apologised and let it go, but I can still tell that he's fuming. Am I the idiot? Now for some comments. OP. Shouldn't commit to someone's project if others are trying to take advantages of her OP. I learnt the hard way in my early 20s to never commit to someone else's project. I might surprise someone and show up to help, but I don't want it expected of me. Too many times I burnt myself out helping someone because I had committed myself to it. Commenter 1, not the idiot, but I think a deeper convo here would help. Tell him that this isn't the way to get help on something. The right thing for him to have done in both situations is to say, "Yay, I can see you have some challenges. Let me talk to my fiancée and see if she has any suggestions." That's a soft way of saying maybe. The reality of it is, neither one of you should be volunteering one another without talking to each other first, privately, not on the spot. You used boyfriend quite a bit in your post. Given you bring so much to the table, wealth and skill, you need to think about a prenup. Oh. Yes, we do have a prenup. I have premarital assists and an inheritance. My earning potential is also higher. He makes decent money though. Ultimately, he was fine with a prenup, and we already got it sorted out with 2 layers. We have separate finances. Commenter 3. Maybe agree to a compromise. He can promise his family services, but only those he can do by himself. You want to tag along? Cool, but everything else he has to check with you first. Is he aware how much time he just casually gifts his family if he commits to projects? The first one was including troubleshooting, which can take hours. To rescue a sunken DIY kitchen project? Days. Is he aware how much he asks from you? Plus, he doesn't even do this basic little act. OP. To be honest, I think he should just pay someone to go and fix both problems. He can afford to do so, and he could just make it their early Christmas present. But he didn't like this idea. So he's going to go try to fix his sister's water this weekend. He's going to realize the hard way that there's a reason I don't want to do these things. Ultimately, I think it will be good for him to learn this lesson firsthand. Update. You asked for an update, and you got one. If you have read my last post, you'll know that I refused to help my boyfriend's family with their home repairs/renovations. My boyfriend was moderately unhappy. His take was, if we're going to get married one day, his family will become my family, and we should all do our best to help each other. We had a frank conversation. I explained that I feel like his sisters are kind of needy and expect help. Meanwhile, they never offer any help, nor do they have any real useful skills that I'd need them for, to be honest. I made it clear that he's welcome to use his time, effort, and money to help them as he pleases, but to leave me out of it going forward. He agreed. Today he went over there to try to help his sister fix her plumbing in their trailer. He went over there and they spent 6 hours trying to fix it. It ended with a broken pipe and sewage and water flooding underneath badly. He called an emergency plumber, who said that pretty much all the plumbing in the trailer needs to be redone, because it's so old. He quoted them $6 SK to fix it all. When the plumber left, him and his sister ended up getting in a screaming match in front of the kids. She insisted that if I came last week, things wouldn't have gotten so bad, which doesn't even make sense honestly, but she's a moron. She insisted that him and I come fix it all for free. He told her off. For always being a burden on everyone and making her problems everyone else's. She got super offended and told him to leave since he thinks he's so much better than her and her kids. The kids were all crying and it was a mess. Both Sills have been blowing up his phone and my phone. We've ignored them. He cried. He's just been exhausted. He opened up that he feels bad because he promised his dad when he was a kid, right before his dad died, that he would take care of everything. Personally, I don't think it was fair of his dad to make a 6-year-old boy make that kind of promise. It's out so much weight on his shoulders over the years. My boyfriend has stated that it's time to let them all sink or swim, with everything. He's just so tired. We're going to take a break from talking to all of them. If/when we get involved with them, there will be crystal clear boundaries. He has agreed on this. So yeah, that's all I've got for right now. Not sure if it's a happy ending, but that's just where we are in life. For those of you who suggested that I leave my boyfriend, I hope you don't end your relationships over every minor disagreement. She laughed because that will lead to a lonely life. He's not going to put his sisters first for the rest of his life, but things are complicated. So we have to make things right. I'm willing to stand by him while we deal with things. Relevant comments. Does boyfriend's mother and sisters have any life skills or knowledge? OP. No, they do not. They all work entry-level jobs for little to no money and have no education or skills. He's doing a lot better for himself, and they just drag him down. OP's boyfriend needs to set boundaries on his mother and sisters. OP. He's been slowly learning to set boundaries. It's not an overnight thing. He's made a lot of progress since I first met him. I'm not perfect either. What skills have OP done so far for herself? or a loved one. OP. I have been blessed enough to never need a plumber. I've replaced sinks and toilets and done some easier plumbing work, but when it comes down to it, I would rather just call a professional rather than risk getting covered in crap. Let's hope I didn't jinx myself, because calling round for quotes is not something I want to do in my free time. Am I the a-hole for not responding when someone doesn't use my actual name? My name is Nico, and it's not short for anything. On my birth certificate it says Nico, middle name, last name. This is something a few people can't understand, and some people call me Nicholas. Even teachers who see me on the class list as Nico and not Nicholas. I'm a foster kid. I've been in the system since I was 2. My mum is the only bio family I know, but she's not able to take care of me. I see her twice a year through court-ordered visits. But nobody in her family, and I don't have anything to do with my paternal side. I've been with my current foster family for 3 years, and I'm really happy with my foster parents and foster siblings. My foster parents actually want to help the kids they foster, and their kids are cool with their parents fostering and don't bully me or others for stealing their families. Listen, so I hope I get to stay until I age out of the system. My only problem is some of their extended family are snobs and they don't like calling me Nico. So they call me Nicholas, even after being corrected 1,000,000 times. My foster parents have explained that my name is actually Nico, not Nicholas. But the reply is always, but Nicholas is short for Nicholas. A couple of the extended family have encouraged me to change my name because Nicholas sounds much more professional for an adult male, which I will be soon. I was like, no thanks. My foster parents told me I should ignore whenever someone calls me Nicholas now, unless they're new and just assume. But I can ignore their family members who do it, so that's what I did. I've ignored them a handful of times now and it bothers them so much. Yesterday it happened twice, because one kept trying to call Nicholas over and I just didn't go. The other asked Nicholas to pass the potatoes at dinner, and I kept eating and didn't pass anything. Sometimes I wish I were the white path between us. You don't need a path, ever. I was then called out for ignoring them, and my foster parents said nobody knew who they were talking to because there was no Nicholas at the table. One of my foster sisters said she assumed it was her Nicole, and they got confused, and that's why she passed it instead. I was told I should be more open to the wisdom others offer with name suggestions and stop being rude by ignoring people, even though my foster parents backed me up again. It made me feel a way because this really is my best foster experience and I don't want to piss off people in my foster family. So am I the a-hole? Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. Your foster parents sound great and clearly have your interests at heart. Even the other kids, at least one anyway, are standing up for you. Your name is Nico, not Nicholas. It's extremely rude and disrespectful to deliberately call you by a name that isn't yours, especially with repeated corrections. It's even more rude and disrespectful to practically demand you change your name from something you like and see as yours to something you don't like and don't want. There's also nothing wrong with Nico as a name. Sure, it's not common, but it's not really weird either. Your name is your name, and no one else gets to demand it be something different, or call you by a name that isn't yours. Keep listening to your foster parents. It's them and their kids you want a good relationship with, not so much the extended family. And if you back down now, the extended family will never respect you and will continue to demand you change things they don't like against your will. Continue ignoring anyone who calls you by the wrong name, unless it's an honest mistake. Continue listening to your foster parents and letting them stand up for you. That's part of their job as foster parents, and they're proving they're great at it. Commenter. It's even more rude and disrespectful to practically demand you change your name. Also, he's a foster child. Even if the foster parents weren't sticking up for him, there's no legal authority to even do a name change. They're bullying a child. The foster parents are great for sticking up for Nico, but I knew a woman a few years ago who had similar issues with foster kids' names, and it was absolutely stemming from racist tendencies. She wanted to become a foster parent, was specifically looking to foster sibling groups because the older ones can take care of the younger ones, and then popped out with, "I wonder if I can change their names." The parents name them such stupid things like Devonte and Javonte, etc. All of the names she used as examples were ethnic names common in the black community. She did respite care for a while, but sincerely hope she never got approved to be an actual foster parent. Part of me wonders if the name thing OP is going through isn't also stemming from some kind of racism or xenophobia. Nico isn't an uncommon name, but it's not classically English sounding either. Kath giggles as I imagine a foster daughter called the black girl, or Miko,